Hey everybody, it's Joe from Papa Jobo's. Today we're going to be talking about the genius of our founding fathers. What our founding fathers knew implicitly, and more than any other government entity that I think's ever existed, was the fact that you can't cure the human condition. You can't do it. They understood this implicitly. They understood that you had to keep it in check. What's the human condition? Well, I simply mean this. Anyone who's ever existed, does exist, will ever exist, is flawed. Fundamentally, you're flawed. You always will be. Everyone has flaws. That's fine. It's how we deal with them that makes us the people we are, I believe. However, our founding fathers understood that you had to have a form of government that kept that human condition in check. So what did they do? They came up with a system of checks and balances. They've got the judicial branch, which is all of our court systems. And when it comes to big stuff, mainly the Supreme Court. And then we've got the executive branch, which is our president. And then we've got the legislative branch, which is Congress and the Senate. Now, I'm not going to give you a history lesson on those. You can go read about them. Most people know about them anyway. What a lot of people nowadays, especially with how angry we are with one another and how everyone's fighting, what they don't understand is that this system still works beautifully. I've often heard people say it's the best form of government to ever exist, but it's still a bad form of government. Baloney. It is literally the best form of government for human beings that has ever existed. I truly believe that. I've heard a lot of people say that, and I think that there is no evidence to prove that. The fact that we still function in the way that we're functioning, that I can sit in my basement and, well, my studio, and have a business and talk about things that really are sometimes, political fire points. Some people agree, some people don't, and it really gets people pissed off. The fact that I can do that and not have someone come raid my house or do crazy things with me tells me that this system works really well. It's simple things like that. But there's also the fact that our founding fathers understood that you could have benevolent dictators like King Arthur, and I know he wasn't real. I'm just saying you could have people like that in society that, yeah, for their reign, things are going to be pretty good. They're going to be pretty nice. But the overwhelming majority of people are going to eventually succumb to corruption and the greed and horrors that power brings to people. And so what did they do? They came up with the checks and balances. They said, we have a human condition that will never be cured. We can never have a utopia. It will never exist. Get that dream out of your head. All we can do is manage it. And so they came up with this awesome government. And again, I understand that we're fighting a lot and that it happens to be really bad right now, but that's healthy in a lot of instances. Now, when you're talking about maybe a government style like communism, which is insidious, that comes in and slowly corrupts. Again, you can read about these things online from actual propagandists. I'm not making it up. There's a slow process, a turning process. That's what you got to look out for, because that can even potentially subvert the checks and balances if it poisons enough people. Is it doing that now? I see some signs of it. You have some people who are just openly socialist, but really preaching communism. Anyway, that's a little off topic. Our founding fathers understood exactly what humanity needed. I would love it if the rest of the world would just adopt our Constitution and be done with it. We could go out and explore the stars. We could go have so much more fun. We could be just such a much better society. There's also a fourth branch, unofficial branch to all this, and it was supposed to be the media. Yeah, the media. Was it ever what it was supposed to be? I think so. I remember being back in the day when I was really young. I'd watch the news and they just report it, and then you decide what you wanted to decide from it. There came a point probably in the mid-90s when there was this movement to humanize the anchors to the point where they would give opinions, or people would get mad at them like, how can you report a story like that and not say something about it? Well, they started to, and now we've got the mess that we're in today with the media doing what it does, obviously pitting one against the other. The worst part is just flat out lies. The flat out lies are horrible. I can't remember that ever happening consciously on the media's part. I'm sure there's examples of it. Please list them in the comments below if you got any. But at the end of all of this, and so the media right now isn't really something that I think a lot of people can trust implicitly. And I think you really got to do your homework if you're wanting to find out what the truth is out there. And I'm not some deep conspiratorial person. I'm just saying, do your homework. Understand what's happening in the world today. And understand that the American form of government is the best form of government for humans ever. Ever. I mean that, because you're not going to cure that human condition. You're not going to stop us from being flawed. We are all going to make mistakes. We're all going to mess up at every level of society. And the only way to balance that out is with a series of checks and balances to where each entity is powerful enough to keep the other one in check. I argue that you should have that with the media in some form. I don't know what that would look like. I have no idea what that would look like, actually. But I do think it might be a good idea to explore, because it's getting a bit out of hand, in my opinion. Look at how we're pitted against each other. It's kind of an awful situation we're in right now. I do have hope for the future, though. I do have hope that if people will stick with our government and understand that it's there in its form for a reason, that we're going to get past these really hard times. I hope so. If we allow communism to keep seeping in the way it is, then that is a massive problem. If it gets into our military, lights out, forget about it. Anyway, I don't want to leave you on that negative note. I want to leave you with this. Our founding fathers knew what they were doing. Fundamentally flawed people, yep, just like everyone else. But their principles and their ideas and their intelligence and their compassion was sound. I'm Joe with Papa Jobos. Please like, share, subscribe. Help me keep this thing going. Peace.